Hi and welcome back to this new video. Today I want to talk about my experience taking the TOEFL. You might want to take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt because I am quite salty about the whole experience. I was originally going to take the TOEFL last year in summer, but then it was cancelled and so I rescheduled it to November just because I was curious about taking the test. I did reschedule the test pretty spontaneously and did not have much time to prepare, which I thought was fine. I thought I could just wing it because I thought my English was quite good, but it turns out I couldn't, and that shows in my results. But before I share those with you, let me just quickly go over what the test looked like, and maybe you will then understand why I thought it was quite a frustrating experience. So the first part was the reading section. Each text was about 600 to 700 words and we were given 4 of them. The first thing I noticed was that those texts were on very specific topics. The first text was about the formation of planets and how like the little particles had some kind of chemical reaction and evolved into bigger particles and then collided and then somehow planets came to be. Another text was about the railroad system in the US in the 18th century and how that had an effect on the population and the economy. And then there was another text about like a specific cell in a plant that grows in like saltwater areas and how that cell helps the water circulate through the plant or something. On top of the text being on very specific topics, the questions weren't really asking whether you understood the text or not. It felt more like I was being tested on whether I had learned certain key phrases and if I could pair them with the right answer phrase, which I did not. I will admit that my reading skill in English is definitely my weakest skill, but that still leaves me wondering why I have to know about like the formation of planets, railroads, or cells. Anyways, on to the next part. So far it has definitely been my fault, but you guys, this next part, I can't even. So the next part was the listening part. We were given like a short clip, 3 minutes or so, that we had to listen to. We could take notes and then we were supposed to answer a few questions about what we had just listened to. I would say that generally the speakers spoke pretty clearly and they spoke at a reasonable speed and there weren't like any traps in the questions either, so that was fine. I just kind of zoned out towards the end, but that is also on me obviously. Okay, here is the annoying part. So you gotta imagine we're like 20 people in that room, right? And everyone starts at the same time, but everyone goes at their own pace. So while I was taking my sweet time in the reading section, the girl next to me was a lot faster and she started the listening section way before I did. As a result, she obviously also finished the listening part way before I did. So the next part was the speaking part and she started her speaking part when I just started my listening part. And now you gotta imagine this girl is like 1 meter away from me and the microphones are pretty bad, so you have to hold them really close to your mouth and you still have to yell into them. And now as I'm sitting there doing my listening part, trying to concentrate on what they're saying, taking my notes, this girl next to me is just yelling into her microphone, blah 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 blah, and it's really distracting. I was also surprised that the speaking part wasn't actually a speaking part, but rather we were just given a short clip to listen to, could take a few notes, and we were then supposed to summarize a 3-minute clip into like 45 seconds. I admit that me not knowing that was just on me not being prepared for the exam, but really, my god, if that part had been like a proper speaking part, I would have killed it. I would generally say that speaking is definitely my strongest skill, but it was really stressful to summarize, like to listen to the lecture thing, then summarize everything, and then give a concise presentation on whatever we just listened to. It's just kind of unnatural, you know? And I'm pretty sure that there would be native speakers that do struggle spontaneously organizing their thoughts on a topic that is not familiar to them. And then the last part was writing. I don't really have any particular feelings about this part, but again, some people were still doing their speaking part as I was trying to focus on my writing and organizing my thoughts. On this really random topic, again, it was like about bacteria in space and how they eventually got to Earth, and it was just really random, but you know, it is what it is. But so I'm sitting there trying to organize my thoughts, typing like while other people are yelling into their microphones. It's just really distracting. Overall, I just thought the thing was kind of poorly organized. I don't know why there were so many people in the same room when They knew that we had this speaking part, and obviously the microphones weren't the best. Okay, now onto the relevant thing though, because who cares what I'm thinking? In the end, it's just the number on the paper that really matters. So I got 103 out of 120 points. The breakdown of that is 25 out of 30 for reading. That was totally expected. I know my reading isn't the best. 27 out of 30. This too was kind of expected. I zoned out, but that is on me. I know my listening is stronger than my reading for sure. Then 25 out of 30. I don't understand. How is my speaking as bad as my reading? This can't be right. This is just objectively wrong. And then 26 out of 30. Again, I don't really have any particular feelings about this. It just is what it is. So what can we take away from this test? Obviously, there is no one perfect method of testing people's language ability, but the TOEFL does just what it's supposed to do. If you plan on taking the TOEFL or any exam for that matter, make sure you do your research, do prep exams, and know what you're getting yourself into. Lastly, while I was a little disappointed with the result when I first got it, I do understand that that number on the paper is only one way of looking at my abilities. I know what I'm capable of, and that number doesn't make me any more or less capable than I was before. And that's it for today. I have another video in which I talk about how I got fluent in English. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that down in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video.